I guarantee if you watch all of this video, you're never going to need to watch another Amazon FBA product research video again, right? Until maybe I do one in a week. But you are going to learn everything that you need to know in this video. I know people say that, but I guarantee because I'm going to go super in depth on all of the key parts of doing Amazon FBA product research. Now, before we dive into that video, I want to show you our results. So yesterday we did just over $5,000 in sales. Our margin at the minute is tasty, baby. It's so good at the minute because we're also selling on Shopify. We've got tons of branded search coming across to our Amazon listing. So our margin yesterday was 35%. We made nearly $2,000 in profit. The last 30 days, we've done about $26,000 in profit just on Amazon. We are out of season for this brand. So these numbers are going to triple or quadruple in the next couple of months. We also sell on Shopify. So yesterday we did just under $2,500 in sales. So I know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not just a guru that makes videos and looks pretty on camera, as unbelievable as that might be. I actually sell. We've got our own brand that we're growing. Let's get into it. So I am going to be showing you today everything that you need to know about Amazon FBA product research. It's not going to be loads of fancy editing and a load of nonsense like that, right? I'm going to use this Miro board and I'm going to show you the key things that you need to know. And this is going to equip you with the knowledge and the tools and everything else that you need to go away and feel confident on how you can do product research. If you feel like you need extra help with starting a brand or getting selling on Amazon, check the link in the video description because that's what we do. We've got a community of Amazon sellers. We can help you speed everything up and do everything in the right way. So click the link in the video description if you want us to help you start a brand. But let's get into it. So I'm going to break this down into 4 different parts. The first part is product criteria. Now, this is the criteria that you need to have ingrained in your brain when you're doing product research. And I'm going to explain each one of them and why they're important, right? Then the next one is differentiation, because we all know if you launch a product that looks the same as everyone else's, and it is the same, it's going to be very, very difficult unless you're an absolute marketing genius. So we're going to mix those things, but I'm going to talk about that as well. Then I'm going to talk about the tools, practical tools that you can use that I think most Amazon gurus don't mention, right? Not just the ones that everyone talks about. These are going to be different things, hopefully things that you've never seen before. Then I'm going to talk about sourcing. Once you've done the product research, a huge part of product research that nobody really talks about is how do you actually then get the product? It's all well and good finding the product, but how do you actually go out and get the product and get your hands on it and actually source it and brand it and do all the rest of it, right? So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to cover is the product criteria. So the first point is you want to be finding things that are in niches that are growing year on year, right? This is so unbelievably important. You don't want to be launching products or finding products that are in a niche that's declining, that's getting worse year on year. And there are 2 main ways that you can do this. The first one is Helium 10, which I'm going to show you in a second. And the next one is Google Trends. Now, Google Trends is super easy to use. You literally just Google it and you go to it and you use it. I'm not going to show you how to do that because I don't need to. It's self-explanatory. But what we are looking for is products and niches that are getting more demand naturally year on year. We don't want to see this crazy growth like fidget spinners and all of these sort of super trendy products, but you want to be in a niche where the demand is going to be naturally increasing every single year because that makes your job easier. Let's imagine that there's a pie, right? And there's 1,000 people eating that pie. You want the pie to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger over time, right? You don't want it to be shrinking. You want your market to be getting bigger and bigger. And this is a brand that I'm going to show you in a minute, actually. Let's go back to the mirror bus. So the first thing for the product criteria is check that it's something that's growing year on year. So if you look at beef organ supplement, one of the easiest ways to do this is with Helium 10. If you don't have Helium 10, check out the video description because we've got an affiliate code for it. But let's have a look. Beef organ supplement for women. So if I came across this as a product, I would want to check that this is a niche that's growing. And it is, right? It's actually a really new niche. This is something that's not really, it wasn't really a thing before sort of early 2024. It's been around for a couple of years. So it's a new niche, but what you can see is it's growing and it's getting more demand over time, right? If this graph was inverted and it was going down, I wouldn't be interested because I only want to go into things that are growing. Let's have a look at this other keyword. You can just click on these, right? This is a good example. So do I want to launch a makeup organizer brand? No, not really, right? Because it doesn't really look like the demand for this is growing. It's just kind of declining, right? So I want to go into something that I know the demand is going to be growing, right? That's the first point that I want you to really understand. And you check that with Google Trends or you check it with Helium 10 by looking at the search words. Next point, high margin, right? This might seem obvious. Everybody wants to have high margins, but how do you actually understand? A really simple rule of thumb: whatever the product costs, you want to sell for as much as possible, obviously, but you really want to be selling at the very least 4 times what you land that product for. Now, what I mean by that, if you source the product, let's say it's from China and it costs $4 and then it's $1 to deliver it to Amazon. So in total, that product costs you to land it at Amazon, ready to send to the customer. If it costs you $5, the minimum you want to be able to sell that product for is $20. The minimum. If you are sourcing it for $5 and you're planning on selling it for $15, you are going to have a bad time, my friend. It ain't going to work. The higher you can sell it for, some of the best businesses, they're landing it for $5 and they're selling it for $40, $50, right? Obviously, that's the absolute dream, but that's what you want. You want to be selling it for as much as possible. Now, if you're only selling your products on Amazon, you have to be aware of the price of other products, because if we take a look at this beef organ supplement, what you'll see is you've got products like this that are $60, right? I'd imagine they probably get this less than $10. They're selling it for 6 times at least, I would imagine, what they're landing it for, right? But they've got to be aware that the rest of these products are cheaper. They're $14, they're $30. If you are only an Amazon brand, you have to be aware of what the price is. So if I know, looking at this, man, I mean, I'm going to be competing against these guys at $30. These guys are $30. If I'm only selling on Amazon, and what I mean by that is these guys are not just selling on Amazon, they do TikTok, they do Facebook advertising. That's how they're double the price pretty much of everybody else, because they've got that brand awareness and that external traffic, right? But if you are only an Amazon seller, then you've got to adhere to the way that Amazon works as a marketplace, and it works on price most of the time, right? It works on price. So if I'm getting this product for $10 and I'm only going to sell it on Amazon, it ain't going to work. The only way it would work is if you're driving external traffic. That's what we're teaching people within our community to do, that so you can charge more for your products. But this is the next thing. You need to be selling it for at least 4 or 5 times what you land it for. But that price needs to be anchored against the price of your competition. If your competition are $40 and you need to sell it for $60, unless you've got some other way of driving traffic to Amazon, you're going to struggle. So just bear that in mind. So the next point is, it needs to be something that people really need, right? In my opinion, you can sell anything. But if you think about products related to health, my dog at the minute is really sick. He's got allergies, he's itching. It's absolutely breaking my heart, if I'm being honest. And I'm spending so much money trying to get him back in good health, right? It makes things easier if the products that you are selling are things that people really, really need, right? Things that people really, really need. I want to show you a brand where I think this is not the case, and it's not the type of product that I would want to sell. So this is a brand called Tabs Chocolate, right? And basically they sell this chocolate that apparently you're supposed to take it and it makes you horny. You take it with your partner and you want to go and rock the Casbah, as they say. I don't like these types of products because this is not a necessity. This is a gift. This is a fad. This is a novelty item, right? If you compare that to something like beef organs, where it's about health, it's about nutrition, it's about people taking care of their bodies, there's a big difference. This is not an absolute essential, but for me, it is. It's not for everybody, but I would rather be selling something that people desperately need. It's a real pain point that makes things easier to sell when people really need it. My girlfriend right now is pregnant, and we've spent a lot of money on supplements, on stuff for her health, because we want her to be healthy, we want the baby to be healthy. We need that so badly right now. That's why that's such a good niche to go into. So think about this when you're looking at your products, when you're doing your product research. Is this something that people really, really need, right? Because it's going to make things easier. Ideally, you want a consumable product or you want it to be high ticket. If you're only selling on Amazon now, it's getting difficult to sell these like low ticket products, right? Especially if you want to advertise your products on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. The vast majority of people that I know in e-commerce that are doing really well, they have a subscription-based business. They have products that people can subscribe to. All of our products now pretty much are subscription-based products, and it makes everything 100 times easier long term. You want to build a brand that people love, they buy from you and they go, this was great, and I'm going to buy something again, right? The caveat to that is something like this. So this is a microphone that I bought, right? When I'm doing my Instagram videos, it's by a brand called DJI, right? So it's not subscription based, but it's a high ticket product. This was 400 euros, I think, right? So it's high ticket. So it means the advertising is a lot easier because they can advertise to me on Facebook and spend a lot of money because I'm going to pay 400 euros for this. It's a lot. It's not a 30 euro product, which trying to advertise 30 euro products on Facebook is super, super difficult, right? It's almost impossible. And also, this is the type of, I'm going to buy another product from this brand, which relates to my next point, which, oh, it's not, it doesn't relate to my next point. That's the final point. But to cap this off, you ideally want something that's consumable or it's high ticket. High ticket like this or a subscription based product. I don't want to be selling a product for $30 that people only buy once. It's going to make it very difficult for you to expand off of Amazon and to create a real brand. So I would recommend everybody consumable or high ticket. High ticket is probably even higher than this. I would look over $100 products, right? As long as you understand why that's important, that's fine. The next one is lends itself to going viral with short form content. Now, short form content has completely changed the game. As I'm recording this, we don't know whether TikTok is going to get banned in the US. I don't think it's going to be. It's still around in Europe. It still will be around in Europe. But you can't ignore the fact that products that lend themselves well to short form viral marketing are so much better than products that don't, right? So anything that you can see either yourself making content for or other people easily making content for, like this, you could go viral with this, right? Talking, microphone, whatever it is. In my opinion, you need to be thinking about that because it's such an important part of products and brands nowadays. If you look at this one again, this is just another great example. This is something that you can see going viral because it's a little bit weird, right? It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit new. That lends itself very well to short form viral marketing. The next thing is it can be bundled well with other products. This is a great example. This is what I was alluding to just a minute ago. This can be bundled with so many accessories, right? And if I buy this, then I might buy a little camera or a stand or a waterproof case. I don't know. There's so many things that you can bundle with it, right? The same with supplements. So we've got a pet supplement brand and we bundle 6 things together and then we charge like $100, right? And that brings up our average order value and it just makes it so much more profitable when you're bundling these things together. What it means is people might buy one, you send them an email, they come back and they buy another and they buy it. It just makes your brand so much more valuable. So if it's a product that you really only buy one thing and you're never really going to go on and buy anything else, I'm not a huge fan of that personally. My dog's just moving around under me. Goodbye, Bingo. Right, so these are the main product criteria, right? I'm not going to go through them again. Have a look at them, think about them. Next time you're doing your research, ask yourself these questions, right? And these are, in my opinion, to keep it very, very simple, these are the things that you want to be looking at. It doesn't have to be a specific niche. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific price. It could be a $20 product if it's a subscription-based product that people buy every month, right? So just understand these as concepts and understand this criteria. The next thing is differentiation, right? So differentiation. I've only got a few points on this one. A really good rule is think about improving something by 3% with very simple changes. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? You need to improve something slightly so that it's got a bit of an angle. And then it's about how you present it, how you talk about it, how the brand looks. You don't need to completely change everything about something. We had a product that we added extendable legs to and it pushed it off the ground. People loved it. It was such a simple thing that we added, but it made things so convenient to the customer, right? It made things a lot easier. So improve things by 3% with simple changes. The next one is niche down, right? Niche down. So if I'm looking at creatine gummies, I don't want to just sell creatine gummies, right? Because creatine gummies is super, super saturated. And a lot of people say that saturation is a myth and you can always bring something new. But if I'm looking at creatine gummies, I want to go 2 levels deeper. Creatine gummies for men, creatine gummies for women. They don't really do creatine gummies for kids because I don't know if it's safe for kids. But I'm seeing a lot of research lately about creatine gummies for adults, not gummies, creatine for adults, for elderly people, right? I asked my dad about creatine. He has no idea what it is. But there's more and more health benefits of creatine for elderly, right? So you're going to see, is it safe for adults? I'm not going to go into that, but use of creatine in adults and evidence for effect. So this study basically found that it's very good for increasing lean body mass, fatigue, all this sort of stuff, right? I think we're going to see a creatine brand that is specifically for older people. So this is what I mean by niche down. Whatever it is that you're looking at, go a couple of niches lower. Don't look at just the broad, the biggest part of that niche. Go specific if you can. If it's usually sold for men, can you sell it for women? If it's usually sold for adults, can you sell it for kids? If it's usually sold for kids, can you sell it for adults? Can you sell it for older people? Spin it on it, put it on it, put the product in the niche on its head, spin it on its head. So you kind of target these other demographics in these other niches, right? Niche down. This is the best example that I could think of off the top of my head. Branding, zig when others zag. You want to stand out visually. You want to look different. You want to sound different. You want to feel different. You don't want to be the same as everyone else. One of the best examples is this one. Primal Queen have done such a good job of standing out with their brand. First of all, they've niched down. So they are doing their entire brand just for women, female optimized. None of these brands are for women. Look, what does that? That looks like some cowboy stuff. It looks like masculine sort of like Liver King. And then you got this. It's totally different. So the actual product is the same, but they've niched down and then they've done the branding in a way that's completely different to anything else on the market. And that's why they stand out. And that's why they're doing crazy numbers. They're doing millions every month. I follow the guy on Twitter that owns this brand. They're doing stupid numbers. And a huge part of that is their branding and zigging when everyone else is zagging. You don't want to be the same as everyone else. You want to stand out. When you're doing your research, keep an eye out for these brands. You want to be absorbing all this information. $800,000 a month they're doing just on Amazon. So they're doing nearly, over $10 million a year selling just this on Amazon. And I think they're doing the same D2C, right? So let's go back to the Miro board. You want to zig when everyone else is zagging. Don't be the same as everyone else. Don't fall into the trap. If you're looking to launch a beef organ brand, do not, for the love of God, do a brown label and call it something related to beef or heart and, whatever. Do something different. Do something different. Do something that your target customer is going to love. The next one is tools, right? So we've looked at the product criteria. We've looked at how you differentiate. You improve slightly. It doesn't even have to be the product being improved. They've not changed the product in the slightest. It's exactly the same product. They've just differentiated and they've changed the branding, and that's how they're standing out, right? But if you can improve the product by 3% and you can also do crazy branding on top of it, then you're in for a good time. So you want to zig when others zag. The next one is tools, right? So what tools do we actually use to do Amazon FBA product research? The first one, I'm not even going to reveal this yet, but the first one is just Amazon, right? Just go on Amazon and look at stuff. Look at the niches. Look at who's winning in the niches and who's different. And then go to their website and check it out on there. But the first one is pretty standard. It's Helium 10. You've seen me using it. It's incredible for stuff like this, for looking at these keywords. For me, one of the reasons I still use it on a daily basis is to look at keywords, because you can look at them here. It's going to show you the most related Amazon suggestions. It's going to show you all these long tail keywords. It's going to show you these, and then it's going to show you these, which are just random related keywords, right? So you can just go down rabbit holes just by using this part of Helium 10. And then you can click on the product itself and you see all the keywords that it ranks for. You can also use the black box tool, which is super useful. Again, if you want to get a discount on Helium 10, we've got it in the video description. Most of my videos I talk about it because I use it on a daily basis, and it's still a great sort of tool for doing your research. The next one is exploding topics. I was supposed to pull this up, but I bloody forgot. Don't kill me. You might have seen it in other videos that I've done. Again, I'm not going to go super in depth. This ties back into my first point about finding a product that's in a trending niche, right? Because this is essentially a tool for just finding things that are trending, right? And you don't necessarily want something that's absolutely booming like this. You might want something that's just growing a little bit steadier. I will put a link in the description to get a $1 trial, 2-week trial for this. But I look at this a lot. I look at this quite a lot. You can segment it into all these different things. This is going to help you find this sort of not trending as such, but it's gonna help you find these things that are growing year on year, which, back to my first point, is very important, right? The next one is the meta ad library, or tools like Minea. So I'm not going to show you the meta ad library because it keeps bugging out on me and it's doing my head in. But basically, there's tools like this where you can look at the meta ad library. So what it allows you to do is you type in a keyword, and I can't do it here because my credits have run out. You'll type in a keyword and you see all of the Facebook advertising that products on Facebook are doing. And so, for example, if you find this niche, beef organ supplement, you come to the meta ad library, or you get a tool like Minea. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Meta ad library, and you can then look at what people are doing off of Amazon, because you should be doing your research holistically. You don't want to just be an Amazon seller these days, right? You're going to struggle if you are only looking at selling on Amazon. So beef organ supplement, you can just literally search the keyword and it's going to pull up all of these results, and you're going to see different brands. So you might get some stuff related to, there you go, Primal Queen. So you can see that this brand is advertising. You can see the language they use. You can see how they do that. You can see how they're doing all of the advertising. That's Primal Queen there. Look, you can see this is why they're doing so well, and this is what it keeps doing to me. It keeps bugging out. I don't know where to log in. So because Primal Queen are doing so much advertising on Facebook, that's how they are double the price of everybody else. That's what we're teaching people within our community. That's what we're doing with our own brand. Because you can be twice the price of everyone else if you've got all of these people coming to Amazon to search for your brand. Look, Primal Queen, let's see how many people are searching for it. Primal Queen, 48,000 people. 48,000 people are coming to Amazon with their credit cards in their hands going, give me that product, baby. I'm ready. You don't have to convince them that they're already bought in. They've seen your ads on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So they're coming to Amazon. And if you really want to crush it, this is what you need to do. And this is what we're doing, right? With our brands, with our student brands. And it makes, and this is why, look at the price. This is why they're double the price of almost everyone apart from like these guys. And these guys are also doing advertising. But you've got brands like this. These lower level brands are probably not advertising on Facebook and stuff, and that's why they're a lot cheaper, right? So Meta Ad Library is great. You want to be using it all the time. It's going to give you ideas, not only for products, but brands, for advertising. It's going to help you understand all of these big brands. What are they doing? It's going to help you discover new brands that maybe are not on Amazon. So you don't want to just be doing your research on Amazon. You want to be doing it on other platforms, right? So here you can see the Primal Queen. They've not actually updated this. I looked at this a few months ago. It was exactly the same. So they're not really doing too much to update it. So Meta Ad Library, it's completely free, or you can use a tool like Minea, which it makes it a little bit easier. It's got a nice, user interface, but it's not absolutely essential. But get there, you can check it out if you want. The other one is just social media platforms, right? Most people are probably spending a couple of hours a day on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is. Don't waste that time. When you're on Instagram, start searching for products, and you're going to get served ads and brands and videos. I find so many interesting brands on Instagram and stuff because I'm actively looking for it, and then the algorithm starts feeding you ideas, and you're going to see all of the biggest brands, the most successful brands, and then you can start to spot, why are they so successful. You can spot the patterns in different niches, and then you can apply that to the niche that you're looking at. So don't waste your time on social media. Use social media in the right way. It's going to help you with all of your product research. So the final bit is sourcing, right? Not the sexiest bit, but probably the most important bit out of almost everything. So the first point that I want to make is you really want to be negotiating as a beginner. You want to be negotiating MOQs. So this is your minimum order quantity, right? You don't want to be coming in and ordering $40,000 worth of stock. Even if you've not got $40,000, you don't want to be, let's say you've got $6,000 to start a brand. You don't want to be spending all of your money on that first product, on that first inventory, right? You do want to be testing the market in some ways, unless you're insanely confident and you've got 100 grand to spend and you want to take 10K of it and you just want to, whatever. Most people are not at that position. So when you're speaking to suppliers, understand what their MOQs are. What's the minimum that they can do? But also ask them, if I order 30,000 units, if I order 1,000 units, but I also order 5,000 units, 15,000 units, 50,000 units, see what numbers they give back. Because if you know what the price is for 50,000 units, then you can start to see the long-term profit of your brand. your first order doesn't have to be a 40% profit margin, right? If you only order 500 units, but that's to allow you to get proof of concept, to understand, is this going to work long term? But if you know that when you grow the business, you get the economy of scale where you can then drive the price down. Let's say it's $1 per unit for 500 units. But when you first start speaking to the suppliers, you say, how much is it for 50,000 units? And they say, oh, it's 40 cents. So you know you've got that dollar, you can get that down to 40 cents. So then you can do your long-term calculations based on the number for that 50,000 units, right? So it's not always about getting the best profit margin on that first order, because it's not going to happen. The more you order with your supplier, the cheaper it's going to be. So as long as you know long-term that you're getting that great price and the price makes sense long-term, that's really all that matters. You're going to get to that scale, right? Eventually. The next thing is Alibaba, Thomasnet, and Google, right? So these are simple. Alibaba, everybody knows it, right? Use it well. It's China. You can still source supplements in China. You got to make sure you get, the certificates. You need to make sure it's all legit. But China is still a great place to source a lot of products. We've got a new product launching, a new consumable. It's sourced in China, right? They've got the best quality, the best prices. It's all fully checked, FDA approved, all of that sort of thing, right? So you can do that. But if you want to look at the US market, 80% of our products are sourced in the US now, and we use Thomasnet. So Thomasnet is essentially like Alibaba, but for the US market. One of the main differences is that you don't message them through the platform; it just gives you their website. So if you go on Thomasnet, Thomasnet, you can search anything. So you can search creatine, gummies. You can search beef organ supplements. You can search furniture, whatever you want. You can just, you can search it, and there's going to be suppliers on here. It'll break it all down like this. So look, 13 suppliers, 544 suppliers, and then you literally just click on it. You go to their website. You either call them up, or so this doesn't look like creatine, but you this one is, I think I've seen this one before. But you can call them up or you can email them, and it's so much easier than Alibaba, honestly, in a lot of ways, right? So that's one option if you want to source in the USA. And the next one is Google. Just Google it. Whatever it is you're looking to buy, don't forget about Google. Google it, see the website, call them up. Hey, my name's Alex. Yeah, I'm looking to do this. What are your prices for this? Good old fashioned, communication. The last one is trade shows, Canton Fair. The Canton Fair is a massive, massive fair in China. I think it happens twice a year. Get out there and go to it if you've not been. We're hopefully going this year. We've not been yet, but I've got friends that have been, and they say it's incredible. If you've got existing suppliers, going to the Canton Fair and negotiating with them, I've heard, is an incredible way to drive down your prices. But you're going to see a lot of stuff, trade shows in the US or in the UK. Go to trade shows, search trade shows London, trade shows UK, and you can go along. They'll have trade shows for like pet stuff, or agricultural stuff, or garden stuff, all these different things, right? And you can go along, you can speak face to face with manufacturers, you can tell them your dream and your plans for your brand. You can build relationships, right? This is all it's about when you're doing your sourcing. So those are the main things when it comes to sourcing, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Speak to people like they're humans. Get the numbers for the MOQs. Use Alibaba. Use Thomasnet. Make sure you're doing all your economics right. And don't overcomplicate it. It's not absolute rocket science, right? So hopefully that's given you a good understanding, a good framework for all of the different parts of product research, product criteria. You've got your differentiation. You've got the tools that you need to use. You've got the sourcing. Where do you source it? And don't overcomplicate it. It's not rocket science. You're finding demand. There is demand for people that want to be healthy. Then you're looking at a product. In order to get healthy, I can take beef organ supplements. Okay, who's taking beef organ supplements? Men, women, kids, whatever. How can I craft a brand that stands out to those people? Okay, that's one way, whatever. Then it's the pricing. What's the pricing for these different things? Then it's the tools, the sourcing, everything just needs to fall in line. It's not rocket science once you get into it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to be dropping some heat next week as well. Some meta advertising stuff, load of new videos. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.